Welcome back to Angels with Scaly Wings. Let's get back into it. I woke with my eyes fixed on the ceiling wallpaper. A sense of dread lingered from a nightmare I no longer remembered. How many more times would I see this apartment before I returned to my own world? Or before something happened to me? I got ready for the day and tried to shake off those thoughts. Ding dong. Hey Kaiser. And right on the minute. You show up at this time every day, like clockwork. Clocks are reliable, and reliable is good in this line of work. I got something for you. An envelope from the facility. These are the results from the test that Anna ran on my blood. Oh shit. She must have sent this before she was... No, there's no use thinking about that now. Maybe the test results will be able to help us. Let's see. Remarkable similarities in genetic makeup, particularly the brain structure. Oh, I suppose this isn't the only reason you're here. The chief will explain everything once we get there. Let's not keep him waiting, shall we? Alright, is there another murder? Don't be another murder. I don't want another murder. I don't. I just want to be chill and talk with people. We arrived at the place that would look like an ordinary house, had it not been for its extraordinary size. It reminded me of more of a hostel than a family home. Chief! There you are. Wait, weren't you supposed to be with Emira? Luckily, she doesn't work every day of the week. I see. Anyway, we're nearly done here, so I'll keep it short. Reza broke into the hatchery. There's another murder victim, an employee of the hatchery who was on night duty. Her body was found quite away from here. There's evidence of a struggle, but she covered a lot of distance before it was ultimately over. Loud bangs were heard from the area. Her body was found, and she has numerous wounds consistent with wounds of the previous victims and that other weapon he has. By this point, news of another corpse didn't have the same impact anymore. She was just another one of Rez's faceless victims. Hatchery? Is that what this building is? Well, not only. It's a council-owned building, and they like keeping everything related to their sector under the same roof. So besides the hatchery, there's also an orphanage and a family clinic inside. There are also offices related to the administration of those services. That reminds me of the production facility. It should. They have a similar management structure. Can we get back to the case? Sorry for the interruption, Chief. Wait a minute. If an orphanage is in there too... There are no other casualties, but the Reds got something else when we broke in. A generator, as well as a few eggs. Luckily, the power was restored before anything happened to all the other eggs left inside. But needless to say, the parents of the stolen eggs are not going to be happy. Okay, that's that fact. I was expecting that they had eggs, but I wasn't 100% sure about that. Because now that I think about it, live lizard birth. I don't think I want to think about that, to be honest. Why would he steal eggs in the first place? Maybe you could tell us. That's why you're here, after all. I don't know. I have no idea what he would do with them. Maybe he wants to use them as a bargaining chip. After all, he still has to make his escape, and the portal is still broken. Do you think he wants to exchange them for safe passage through the portal? Maybe. It's still broken, though, so I'm not sure if that would be much help. Maybe he has the part needed to repair it, and now has everything he needs to escape. He could trade the eggs for safe passage, fix the portal, and leave. That's not the only possibility. He may not be the one who broke the portal. Maybe he thinks you've intentionally sabotaged it so he can't leave, and he feels he needs the eggs as bargaining chips to get you to repair it. If he just wanted to leave, I feel like he could have done that already. It doesn't even matter who sabotaged the portal. We only know that Reza's actions are becoming more and more desperate. He kidnapped defenseless eggs and even used the human weapon. Something's clearly going on with him. Maybe it means that he'll slip up soon. Who knows? Maybe he already has. In any case, we're done here. Let's head back to the department and decide what to do next. Hopefully, some of the test results will tell us something. Okay, yikes. Now he's stealing unborn babies. Yikes. After a brief walk, we were in Bryce's office again. Initial test results had already come in, but didn't reveal any insightful or new information. So what do we do now? Go over the timeline again? Not yet. There are a few things I'd like to take care of first. What do you have in mind? Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. That's a very heavy knock. Come in. Oh no. Maverick, what are you doing here? Chief, can I talk to you? Alone. We're quite busy here, Maverick. What is this about? Reza. Well, you're looking at the Reza task force. So if you have anything to say, you could say it in front of all of us. I see. I think I know where Reza is. You know where Reza is at this very moment. I have good reason to believe that I have located his hideout. He could still be there. Or he might have already moved on. Damn. Maverick, tell me everything. I've been tracking him for a while now. When he was at the portal a few days ago, I nearly got him and managed to follow him for a while before I lost him. Based on that, where he's been and where his victims have been found, I could triangulate his whereabouts. He has to live somewhere, right? He needs a base to hide the generators and everything else he has stolen. Bryce cleared the clutter on the table and smoothed out the map of the town on its surface. He already had a few locations related to the case marked on it. Show it to me. Prior victims were found here and here. Today's was here. She was following him, likely because she wanted to save the eggs he stole. This is the path he took from the portal when I followed him a few days ago. So we have established this an area of operation. Extrapolate it, and we can narrow it down to this. Now where could he be hiding in this area? He's certainly not within the village borders, so unless he's decided to live in the wilderness or in a hole in the ground, the only option is here. The abandoned farm. When did you figure all this out? Just a few minutes ago. When I did, I immediately came here. Damn it, Maverick. This might be it. Should we send an observation team? As if we had one to spare. Heck, we're going there right now. What about you, Maverick? I'm still on sick leave, remember? Besides, if I saw Reza right now, I'd probably do something I shouldn't. How about you, Kaiser? Isn't it going to be dangerous? Reza probably won't harm you, as you're the only one he could possibly consider an ally. Good points. If anything with you there, we might be able to convince him to give up. Or we could act like we intend to trade you for the eggs, if he tries to use them as a bargaining chip. Oh god. You're not really going to use me as ransom, right? We'll see about that. I suppose if it's necessary, I'll have to play along. I've got your back. If there's one thing we could do to make this whole situation even worse, it would be messing up with you. We have the element of surprise if we walk into his base right now, but we risk Reza lashing out with his weapon. If we want to resolve this peacefully, observation is probably the way to go. I guess we wouldn't need Kaiser there for that, though. True enough. Alright, Kaiser. Alright, Kaiser. You stay here for a while, for further instructions. We may need you at the moment's notice. Don't do anything without telling us. You to understand? The fuck? Oh, fucking hell. I completely butchered that. Holy shit. Fuck. We're just gonna ignore that. Okay. Alright then. Let's go, Sebastian. After you, Chief. And Maverick, good job. Thanks, Chief. Shortly after they vanished, Maverick also turned to leave. Then I had to wait. Bryce and Sebastian were observing the farm now, and if anything new happened, I would be the first to know. I spent some time looking around Bryce's office, studying all the material he had gathered about the case, though there wasn't any information that I didn't already know. After a few hours, the telephone in the office rang. Not sure whether this call was intended for me or Bryce. I picked up. Kaiser. Yes? I think you need to come here. I'll give you the directions. No problem. Ooh, it's a nice little farm. There you are. So what happened? A whole lot of nothing. There was no movement to or from the building at the time we've been watching. He usually operates during the night, so maybe he's just asleep. In that case, it would be best for us to go in before he has a chance to make his escape. Well, maybe he's not even in there anymore. He could have seen us and slipped away unnoticed, with plenty of time to destroy the evidence while we were waiting here. You're right. Either he's still inside, or he's already gone and not coming back. Let's go in. What shall I do? You're coming with me. Sebastian, you walk around and watch the back of the building, just in case he tries to escape. I'm on it, Chief. I go in, and you stay here, alright? What am I even here for, then? You're on insurance. If Reza tries to flee and sees you, it might throw him off. You might be able to stop him. Or, if we can get into a standoff, I can tell him you're here as well. I just don't want you to come inside when it could become dangerous. Oh, this is a hard one. Do I just wait out here? I mean, Bryce is the same breed of dragon as Maverick, so he could probably take a bullet. That is a hard choice, actually. Shit. I think I'll go in. Why? Maybe I could talk to him and we could figure things out. I don't think he wants to kill me, so even if it doesn't work out, Sebastian, you will still be nearby to catch him. That's a very good point and all, but it's just too dangerous for you to go inside. I can't let anything happen to you, so we'll do as I said. Wait here. Alright. I watch as Bryce made his way to the front door, looking around. I scan the windows of the building for any sign of movement. When Bryce reached the door, I wondered how he would make his entry. Would he try to be quiet and sneak around? Oh, just the idea of big old Bryce trying to sneak around. It's not going to go too well, I believe. Hoping to find Reza unprepared. Or would he barge in and rely on his strength and speed to apprehend him? Though, shortly after Bryce opened the door, an earth-shattering sound echoed across the sky. Is it a bullet? No, it's an explosion. Bryce! Bryce! Oh, that's not good. Is Bryce dead? I can't believe he's really gone. I'm sorry, Kaiser. I just didn't know what to say. All the responsibility falls on me now, and Reza's still out there somewhere. This case is just beyond our capabilities. We were already at the bare minimum before this, but with Bryce gone, I don't know what we should do now. I've already requested help from one of the cities. I hope to send some good investigators our way as soon as possible. At least we reclaimed everything that was stolen. Well, except for the eggs. I don't have to explain that to the parents how their children were killed in the explosion. All the generators were just sitting inside there. It makes me think Reza must have left in a hurry. And we got so close, too. It was his hideout, for crying out loud. He probably just saw us approaching and left before we even had the chance to apprehend him. But you know what? I can't stop now. If anything, this has only proven that he's even more dangerous than we thought. If Reza can make bombs out of generators, who's to say what he'll use them next? We have to stop him, Kaiser. Are you with me? Yes. Regardless of Bryce's death, we have to try our best to proceed with the investigation for his memory, and for the sake of the town. At least Reza doesn't have any generators for now. All the stolen ones were accounted for inside the building. Alright, let me see what else we have. When we searched the building, we found more than the things Reza stole. We also found this bloody bandage. Do you think that's his? That's what we need to find out, but given all we know, it probably is. So he's wounded. We know he was injured during the fight with his first victim, but whether this is the same wound or something else, I'm not sure. Now, I found a bloody bandage at one point, didn't I? So can we, like, check the DNA on both bandages and see if these are the same thing? In any case, you can bring it to the lab for us to find out more. Sure. Next, we have a witness who reported hearing loud bangs during the night. We'd like to send someone to make a follow-up visit. You'll need confirmation from the witness statement, then see if anything else new to share. Also, we have reclaimed your PDAs. We're going to send one to the archives for analysis, since they have experience with human artifacts. They're better studied to do that than any of our departments. No problem. In any case, I'll just leave everything here until I get to it, so feel free to do those tasks as you wish. I know it's laughable that we don't even have a free hand for simple errands. Don't worry about it. Anyways, you should get back to the investigation now. I'll leave the stuff for you here, and I'll take care of the rest once I get back, alright? Sure thing. Good luck, Kaiser. You too. This is a good decision, or an important decision. I really want to test the bandage, because I'm like 90% sure I found another bloody bandage at some point. Actually, I know that bloody bandage I found earlier must have been Reza's, actually. Because the, like, masked figure or whatever gave me, like, the thing telling me to go to the park. And then the only thing I found there was that bloody bandage, I think. I also found dirt or something, but whatever. And the bandage is what is interesting me the most. Although, am I going to have to deal with that asshole that I met, like, before? I hope this is the right place. Ah, fuck. Can I help you? Yeah, I'm just dropping this evidence off on behalf of the police. From the Reza case, right? I already read the memo. Yep, well, here you go. Thanks. I'll get right to it. Alright. That's cool. I guess I'll go to Remy. I like Remy. Oh, he probably doesn't like me much, does he? Not after that's done. Not after that's done. No, he doesn't. Fuck it. Go give it to Remy. We can still be business partners, I guess. Oh, it doesn't look like Remy's here. Oh, fuck. Alright. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. This is a fancy dragon. He's real fancy. I don't even know what kind of fucking voice to give this guy. Excuse me. Can I help you? Do you know where the audio section is? I'm looking for some sheet music. Sorry, I have no idea. I don't even work here. Ah, don't worry about it. The staff all seem to be hiding somewhere. Anyway, have a good day. You too. Maybe Remy is somewhere in the back or in his office. Hello? You know, this section is usually for staff only. I'm just looking for Remy. I'm supposed to drop off this PDA. Well, he's not working today. Apparently he has other engagements. If you need to find him, you could probably do so at his home. He doesn't want me there, to be honest. Can't I just leave it here? Oh, I'm not going to take responsibility for this if it gets lost. If you want to drop it off, go find him. Okay. By the way, I hope you don't take it personally that I tried to send you away. To be honest, I am glad that you're still here. Remember, I said that I believed you when you told me your side of the story. I always have to do what is in the public's best interest, and now they will not blame me if you have any connection with Reza. I hope you can understand that. Here is Remy's address, in case you need it. I already knew where he was, but thank you. Oh god, Remy's is gonna look at me with a real stinker of a face, isn't he? After that fucking stunt. Is anybody home? What? The door's unlocked. Well, if he isn't here and left the door open, that's no good. I went inside and closed the door behind me. Remy? Are you there? Your front door was wide open. What the? Oh no. Remy? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. How how well did you know him? A little. Enough that I'm sad to see him dead. I see. Well, I know he met you when you initially arrived here, at the very least. It doesn't look like he left a suicide note or anything. I know he has no family, and I don't think he had many friends either. Do you have any idea why he may have done this? I think he was dealing with a lot of things, and I don't think what I did yesterday fucking helped. I suppose the reason doesn't really matter at this point. He's already gone. It's always a shame when things like this happen, when there are resources to help people who have issues and illnesses. It's a mark on our society, a reminder that we let it happen. Someone suffered so much they took their own life. But what more can you do? I'm sorry you had to find Remy like this, though. In any case, I'll handle the rest. Feel free to take the day off if you need to. Alright. Remy. Thanks for all your help. Now that the facility has received the bandage, maybe we'll discover something new. I'll take care of the remaining tasks so you can take the rest of the day off. I'm sure you have some things to do other than helping the police department. It's no problem, really. My trip to your world wasn't supposed to be a vacation. Alright then, I'll see you next time. See ya. Remy. Ah? My fucking my middle finger is just like all twitchy now. God damn it. After this fateful day, I was glad to finally have some sort of respite. I wandered into the kitchen, and as I considered tonight's dinner. Should I cook something or order out? When I returned to the living room, I suddenly found my strength leaving me as I collapsed to the floor. Oh no. Oh no. The next thing I saw was a blurry stone ceiling. As my eyesight slowly returned, I managed to sit up. I was in a cave, and before me stood a familiar, mysterious face. I apologize for the violence, but I can assure you this is the easiest way. Where am I? Is this your hideout? Just a temporary accommodation, so we can be undisturbed for this meeting. Someone else used to live here until recently. Do you know who I am? Well, you're not. What do you mean you're not Reza? What? Good. What did it take for you to figure that out? What? Since you're not whispering anymore, I can hear it clearly in your voice. I had a feeling that you couldn't be him since the first time we met, though. Which first time are you talking about? The generator in the ceiling when you pushed me? I see. You could call me the administrator. No, the humans are supposed to be here, though. I assume that's why you're wearing the mask. You don't want to be recognized. That is correct. Whoever you are, you also saved my life. On more than one occasion. Your presence here doesn't really make sense. You couldn't have come through the portal. The dragons would have noticed. This is where you are wrong. My arrival through the portal is what led the dragons to discover it in the first place. Is that so? When I crawled out from the hole in the earth that hid the portal, there was no guards to discover me. My appearance exposed the portal, but the dragons didn't know it was there yet. So you arrived even before Reza. That makes you the actual first human to come to this world. That is more true than you might like. Just who are you then? I may have arrived through the portal like you, but my story is very different. Oh boy, big story time. And I might get to do it. I guess I could do it in his voice. Before the fall of humanity, I was an engineer. I was part of a team that was formed to create bioweapons. Our task was to create these bioweapons in a country where the development hadn't yet been regulated or outlawed. These weapons were planned to be a low-cost alternative for poor countries to wage war, so they would no longer have to rely on expensive drones and machines for warfare. I was to set up the lab where our bioweapon development would take place. It was a clandestine operation, set in the middle of the wilderness. The laboratory was an independent research and living unit. It provided everything we needed without having to rely on external resources or an existing power grid. Everything was to be teleported right into the middle of nowhere, with no traces or paper trail to follow. So international committees and law enforcement will have no idea of our operations. Our only connection to the outside world after setup would have been a two-way portal to our headquarters, who would provide everything we needed. While we already could teleport individual people, teleporting a whole building was another matter entirely. Our solution was matter compression technology. Incredibly expensive, but operating in the grey market was also very lucrative. The technology behind it was much more complicated than even teleportation, despite being based on it. While teleportation works by utilizing black holes with a beginning and an end, compression technology relies on a loop, keeping matter in a short limbo state until the loop is broken. Working with black holes was very complicated to begin with, but the shape required much more finesse, and thus was much more expensive. I was to be sent alone to set up the lab and the portal so the rest of the team could arrive safely. In case you didn't know, it was possible to use a portal to send someone to a previously defined endpoint. Therefore, it is not required to have a portal at the destination to be sent there. But as you can imagine, this is also very dangerous. A single variable off by a fraction could mean the difference between landing safely at your destination and smothering in space. Of course, my employer did not want anything like that to happen. Not necessarily for my own sake, but because of all the unfathomably expensive equipment I had on me. Regardless, something went wrong. Anyway, despite all their checks and safeguards, they can only minimize the risk so much, even if the risk is a fraction of a fraction. Sometimes you are just that unlucky. And sometimes, it turns out that your bad luck is a blessing in disguise. I arrived safely somewhere in the jungles of Earth, yet it was not the destination that had been planned. I knew something was off, but nevertheless, I set to work immediately. At the very least, I could prepare the building I would have shelter, and then I could begin preparations for our project. Getting the portal into working order would take more time, as it was a complicated process that could take several weeks. If things had gone as I suspected, I would at least be able to establish contact with headquarters after the portal had been set up, and I would be able to return. While teleporting to the lab to the wrong location was certainly a costly mistake, I was still lucky to have my life. Before long, I discovered the truth about the place I had just arrived. while I was still on Earth. It was not the Earth I knew. It was the Earth of 65 million years ago. We knew that by utilizing black holes for teleportation, time travel was a theoretical possibility. It was something even my company didn't dare to attempt, though as teleportation in itself was still a very new technology. Yet here I was, 65 million years in the past, with a research station all to myself. The company would revel in the opportunity to study and profit from all different life forms I could see. If only they knew about them. I spent the few weeks setting up the portal as planned, yet when I tried to re-establish contact with my employer, I was met with silence. Despite the time discrepancy, the portal should have been able to find my companies in the present. For a black hole, sending something through time is no different than sending something through space. However, when we built the portals, we gave them a specialized configuration. It was only possible to travel through space by aligning them across the time axis. That meant that I, in the past, would still be able to search for portals in the present to connect with. My counterparts in the present, though, would not be able to find me in the past, even if they tried. But I couldn't find them, not a single one, even after checking the portal for its function. I determined that, for all intents and purposes, the portals for the company should have been there to connect with. It was then that I had a terrible realization. The portals in the present didn't exist anymore, or were no longer operational. Maybe the blunder of teleporting the lab caused them to reconsider the risks of using this technology. After all, it was already controversial and had been outlawed in several countries. I wouldn't have been surprised if they decided to cut their losses, but it was highly unlikely that they would have immediately shut down every single portal and left me stranded without notice. Portal technology was still being relied on in several places in the present. In my mind, only one possibility remained: superweapons. Various nations had used them as a bargaining chip for some time. I didn't think the threats had become that serious, but one of them must have launched their weapons and destroyed the majority of Earth. It could have been the result of a malfunction, or perhaps the political situation had escalated. Either way, it was not possible for me to establish any means of communication to find out what had really happened. I could have sent myself back into the present with the right coordinates, but that was a risky endeavor, and I had already had to ask myself if it was a present I wanted to return to. I was sure that if anything was even left of our world, the aftermath or a possible retaliatory strike would take care of the rest. In the end, I had to realize that whichever present did exist was likely not the one worth returning to. It made my decision all the easier. Instead of returning to a destroyed civilization, I saw an opportunity. Rather than creating bioweapons, I could use the lab to create a new civilization, shaped by my own ideals. I had all the necessary data and the most modern methods and machines at my fingertips. Besides, most of the processes had already been automated. In the end, I still used the lab for what I had been created for, fusing human and animal DNA to create beings that were mostly animal, but possessed a greater intelligence that allowed them to learn whatever we wanted them to. As I didn't have any animal samples sent to me when I initially arrived, I collected them from the sources available to me. Automated processes mixed the DNA further across the samples. New abilities were added, like enhanced armor, flight, and spit weapons to make the new creatures more effective in combat. The result was a number of different species, each tailored and optimized to fill a specific role in a war situation. Hormones allowed me to speed up their growth, and with the lab's learning program, they could be educated in whatever manner I saw fit. My first concern was self-sufficiency. They needed the kind of knowledge that would enable them to come together as their own independent society. Luckily, the AI that automated all the processes in the lab was more than helpful. I unleashed the first generation of my creation, and as their leader, founded our first village. I thought we could really pull it off, and once I saw that they could survive without my guidance, and also govern themselves, I knew my plan was a success. When I realized that this new society would eventually be destroyed, I told myself that I would do anything I could to save it. Destroyed? What are you talking about? Haven't you realized where we are? The Chicxulub asteroid is headed for us. With a diameter over 10 kilometers, its impact will generate humongous clouds of dust, throwing Earth into a literal dark age. They will block out the sunlight for over a year, killing off many species of plants that rely on photosynthesis to survive. As a result, animals that eat those plants will also vanish, as will those who sought subsistence from those herbivores. All in all, 75% of all species will vanish, and in terrestrial ecosystems, all animals heavier than a single kilogram will die. That would be 2.2 pounds, in case you didn't know. I feel like I'm being called out here. It will be the end of everyone who lives here. Every single dragon you have seen, unless we do something. Wait, what am I supposed to do? Do you not wish to save them? I came here to help humanity. Now you tell me that this society, this whole world is on the brink of extinction? That is the truth. What kind of difference could a single person like me even make to save it? Right now, it's also a single person that presents its greatest threats. Reza. How? In order to stop the comet, we will need as much power as possible. We reclaimed all the generators he stole. Besides, how could a few of them be enough to make a difference for something like this? Don't forget that Reza is still out there, looking for more. The truth is, I don't know if all the generators we could gather would ever be enough. We only require enough power to divert the comet's path during a crucial moment. But even if this plan is possible, we will need every single generator we can get. So my goal hasn't changed. I just need to find Reza. Yes, but you'll need my help, and maybe the help of others. You know that Reza is dangerous, and with his gun, he has a clear advantage. Don't think that he wouldn't hesitate to kill you if you're in his way. And what shall we do? Do you know where he is? No, but I think you'll find him soon, and you can count on my support when that happens. I see. There's one thing that still doesn't make sense to me, though. The dragons have myths about you, but they don't know or remember you. They haven't seen any humans for who knows how long. And how much time could have passed since you created them and now? How many generations could it take to forget? Why isn't there proof of your existence? I don't know exactly how long it's been myself. When I realized what time period I was in, and that my creation was about to be wiped out in the future, I wanted to go to that future and see what they had become. I disabled the portal's time access safeguards, and thus enabled it to connect with others in different times. This also included the very same portal in the future, with the generator of our labs being able to supply the portal with power for an indefinite amount of time. I was able to travel to any point in the future I wanted to. The entry and end point of the black hole would be the same place and the same portal, with the way traveled being just along the time axis. Since I could now search for connection points in any time periods, I could look for my own portal in the future and pinpoint the moment its signal stopped. The comet. Exactly. I found that specific point in time and traveled to a future that was close to that event as I could safely manage. After I arrived here, my escape from the portal's hiding place led to its discovery by the dragons. It and the laboratory were unearthed. I still don't understand how our portal found yours, or why we ended up arriving at this particular time period. The portal you found was no doubt one of my companies. They must have been connected before, so the corresponding data for their connection already existed when you found it. I'm not sure if that could bypass the anti-time travel safeguards, though. Was it completely operational when you found it? No, it took a little bit of tinkering. Probably jumping the hardware safeguards in the process. Now consider that connected portals travel along the time axis together. The data for their beginning and endpoints are adjusted automatically. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to transport anything from one place in the world to another without also sending it through time. Since these two portals must have been connected at some point, the corresponding data for the connection between those two portals already existed. When using the same connection without changing any of the data, this would mean that despite the time discrepancy between those two portals, time still progressed linearly for them. I'm not sure I understand. Let me try to rephrase that. The portal you found... Man, this guy's voice is fucking hard to do. Especially with how much he's fucking talking. Let me try to rephrase that. The portal you found in my own... I fucking love interruptions so goddamn much. Let me try to rephrase that. The portal you found on my own share connected, however. While the connection is locked to a certain place, which is wherever the portal is at the very moment, is not connected to a specific point in time. For us and the physical machines that are the portals, time passes linearly and we can't do anything about that. However, for the black holes, this isn't the case. Just as their entry and endpoints can be in different places, they can also be in different times. In order to not send something through time when we want to transport something from one portal to another, the portals are anchored together in such a way that the time data is automatically synchronized. Essentially, that means that ever since you arrived in this world, the same amount of time that has passed for you has also passed to the place where you came from. I see, so despite being in different time periods, time still passes linearly on both sides of the portals. Otherwise, it would not have been possible for you to send messages back and forth to each other. If they were not synchronized, the portals on both sides would stay connected, not only to a single point in space, but also a single point in time, thus making proper two-way communications impossible. However, this is only possible through the connection that has already been forged. If we wanted to, we could also use our portal to send you back to your own time period, but to a moment before Reza even arrived here. But would that mean there would be two of me, right? Wouldn't that cause a time paradox? I can only tell you that it would work. No one has studied time travel before, though, so if there are any consequences, then I am not sure of them. Most likely an entirely new timeline would be created. There would be a timeline without a Kaiser altogether, and in the new one, there would be two of you. It's becoming way too complicated. I apologize. To come back to your original question, I'm not sure how much time passed between the time I left my newborn society and now. So the portal was not designed for time travel. I have no way of knowing how the variables translated to our perception of time. It could have been thousands or even millions of years. How could the portal, or even its power source, still be operational after all this time? The portal receives its power from the generator in the lab. These units were fitted with the absolute best technology we had to offer. It was designed to provide substantial power completely independently from any already existing networks or power lines. It gains energy from many sources: sun rays, Earth's heat, and movement, just to name a few. Keep in mind, it had to power a whole laboratory and research station, while also providing the energy required for all of its inhabitants and the associated energy expenditures. Taking its power from Earth itself, a generator like this could continue providing power to the lab indefinitely. Speaking of which, why haven't I seen a single dinosaur since I arrived? It seems that the Dragon Society expanded over the whole continent. Many still hunt on their own for sustenance, and as such, the original species they were based on have mostly vanished. As in direct competition, ours proved to be far superior. Also, they have probably taken measures against having big predators roam their cities and villages. Yet, while the dragon population has increased tremendously, I found that by and large, their society as a whole has not changed much. Is that why everything here looks like it was made for humans? I suppose so. The learning program I initially used gave them knowledge about things and how to create them. Yet of course, those were only human inventions and designs. Did it never once stop to think that they should adjust how certain things look? A lot of the furniture and objects I've seen look very impractical for a dragon. I was surprised at that too, but I have an explanation for this phenomenon. Don't forget that their genome was assigned by an AI program to make them into effective bioweapons. The idea was to have them indoctrinated at a young age. After researching adolescence, their learning capacity would be greatly diminished. This results in subjects that would stay loyal and be unlikely to change their desired behaviors. Instincts also play a role. I imagine they are very much at odds with their learned behavior. Instincts in animals never change, and instinctual behaviors will always be there. If a given trait has been programmed into their genome as an instinct, it is not very likely to change, even through numerous generators. We can see the results of this here. While I initially made them learn a certain set of values and knowledge, I found that the expression of those ideas has hardly changed. After I was gone, each new generation learned from its elders, and much of the initial knowledge and information was retained through all time. Their genome as a whole did change, however, which was unavoidable over time. If they had been used as bioweapons as intended, they would have been nothing more than an army of identical clones. While I can see subtle changes in behaviors as a result, some traits are still very much present in them. They're contented with what they have and don't strive for more. They don't innovate or change, so technological breakthroughs or new inventions are a rarity. It's quite the opposite, really. They very much value tradition and their ways, which have not changed much in all these years. I see. How much time do we even have left to stop the comet? In a few weeks, the comet will pass the moon, and its gravity field will point the comet's trajectory towards Earth. This is when we will need to be ready. If we strike then, we only need to minimally affect its path in order for the comet to pass Earth safely. It won't be enough time for the inhabitants of this world to prepare if Reza steals our greatest assets. So it's all about Reza and the generators, isn't it? Indeed. By the way, I fixed the portal in case we need to use it. Did you break it to prevent me from being sent away? No, that wasn't me. Reza better not use it to escape. Trust me, the portal is our greatest asset. I programmed it with emergency coordinates. If you should find yourself in a hopeless situation and feel there are no other way out, go to the portal I have made. And I have made sure only you will be able to use them. I'll keep that in mind. So what's your plan? What do we do now? I will resume my work, and you will continue yours. Find Reza. The administrator turned to leave. Wait, what's with all this secrecy? Why are you still wearing that mask? Why don't we pool a resource together and you could show me your hideout? Don't you think it would be better if you were completely frank with me? No, not now. A second later, the figure had already vanished in the darkness outside. When I followed, I realized I wasn't trying to get back to my apartment. Surrounded by trees in the blanket of night, it was hard to make out where I stood. After wandering through the underbrush, I realized the lights of the horizon had to be coming from the village, and made my way back. I returned to my apartment without much trouble. When I looked at the clock, I was surprised to see how much time had passed. Not having anything left to do today, I soon fell into a deep slumber. Oh boy. I'm surprised that wasn't the end of the chapter, to be honest. Just nothing for me to do this morning. I guess they don't need me at the police department. Not that I mind. Well, fuck. Oh, God. Remy's dead. And I have a feeling that that's my fault. Oh, God. Well, this could stop me off points. We finally met the fucking mask dude proper, instead of him just being like a weird motherfucker. Oh boy. I am not happy with that. And just all the new information that has come in. So we're on Earth, and the dragons are apparently bioweapons. Oh my god, my head hurts. I'll end this video here. I'll see you next time.